Alright guys, so we're going to do a video of all the antlers. Disclaimer here, I still have most of the racks. I started shed hunting in 98 and I have most of the racks. I'll get into a story about why I don't have some of them. But back in I want to say 2005, or no, probably 2006 or 7. I sold off probably over 100 sheds. Some of my biggest ones that I've never found any that were big like that or unique. I had one that had a second main beam. It was like 91 inches. And sold those on eBay. Well, I sold one big antler, and then the guy that bought that was asking if we had any more, and I hadn't listed my... I sold probably 15 or 20 other big ones. And by big ones, I mean they were in between, like, they're all around probably 80 inches, something like that. But I had one that had 11 points on one, just one antler had 11 points on it. I think that one was 81 or 86 inches. But anyway, I sold one. And then the guy actually called us on eBay and he asked if we had any more. And I wasn't home at the time, and my wife was like, oh yeah, we got a lot more. He's like, well, how much you want for them? And she's like, oh, I don't know, 20 bucks a piece. So, yeah, I've been kicking myself for selling those, because I'd love to go get some 80-some inch antlers for 20 bucks. These are all 2014. But I'm going to attempt to lay these out. I don't know if I have enough room in here. But, yeah, I try and separate them by year. And, I think these are 2013, I'm pretty sure. 2013 was my best year. I found 118, something around there. And 2014, I think I found 51 or 52. I only went out for 2 weeks. That was about when my youngest son was just about being born. This was also 2014. When I get the shed out of here, I don't know where it is right now. Nope, it's not that one. But anyway, there's a big one in here. No, not that one either. I'll find it when I find it. I'll tell you about it. But I found this in a preserve, and the bones were still, the spine was still attached to it and stuff, but it was out in like a swamp area, and like right off to the left there was the people that live right on the left. Like, I was right by the property line, maybe 20 yards from the property line. I was freaking out because I was like, oh shit, they're gonna see it and stuff. But I'm surprised they didn't see it. It was the middle of March when I went through there. But those people had called the cops on me before for turning around in their driveway. So, like, they always try and kick you off of this, even though that it's, you can go on it. But anyway, found that one. I drug it to the side of the, like, field, swamp thing. And I was, like, looking at it, taking pictures. And then I look over, and one of the big antlers in there was, like, right next to it. I almost stepped on it. But I'll show you which one it is when I lay those out. But so yeah, 2014 was 52. 2015, 2014, I was in the process of starting my own business, And then my youngest son was born. So 2014 was probably my best year since 2015. I only got to go out like maybe half a dozen times. So from 2015, 2016, both years I only found 14. 2016 I went out and was the earliest I ever found any. Like before 2016, well, 2014 I found one February 21st. But before that, February 28th was the earliest I've ever found them, and I found, I think, 2 on different years on the 28th. So 2016, I go out, not even looking for shits. I was I was at the shooting range, and I was picking up brass, and nobody was there. So I was like, oh, I'll go jump in the woods, and I was like, not expecting to find nothing, because it was like February 12th, I think, and ended up finding 3 there, and then I went to my good spot in town. A few days later, found 3 more, and then the preserve where I found that, I went there on February 23rd and found 8. And February 23rd was the last time I found any that year. I went out for probably the middle of March, didn't find any after February 23rd. 2017, found, I think 16, 17, 18 of them, something like that. I had to stop. My youngest daughter was like due the next day and stuff, and a lot of places I go I don't get service, so stop there. These are 2013. And then 2018, I think there was only 14 there too. But I only went out 4 or 5 times, something like that. Really like to go out. Like 2014, I was out from probably, I found 21st from the 21st, but I'd been out a couple times before that, but I was out all the way till first week of April. But probably can't do that now. But anyway, I'll attempt to lay these out. If anything, I'm gonna do the racks first, probably back there if they fit, and then the sheds after that. But depending on how they fit, I might have to do the racks first, pack those back up, and then do the sheds. But we'll see. Stay tuned. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to add. I was planning all year to go shed hunting this year, but if you watched my last video where I'm walking my dog, we're probably gonna have to put him down. I was already bummed about not taking a dog, so wasn't really into going, and I had the car packed, the backpack, that one. I'll have to do a video on those too. Those are both the FILBE packs. That's a Amazon one, that's a real one. Salt packs right there for it. But so yeah, I had the car all packed up, ready to go, and then decided not to go. I don't know, a lot of places I go in town, in the city, like I'm right up next to like $500,000 houses. Like their grass is here, deer trail will be right here in the woods, and I always feel weird if I'm walking there by myself, like, because people walk back there with their dogs and stuff, but if I'm walking back there with a backpack and people are going to wonder what I'm doing, if I'm scoping out houses or whatever. But so I always take the dog just as like a cover. But anyway, I went to Missouri when was it? Probably like the end of January to get cigarettes. And I jumped in one of my spots. I found this little guy. He had still got a little bit of blood on him. And then I found this one. It was from a year or two ago. This one would have been cool if it wouldn't have been old. Looks like he had a second beam or something that he broke off. Either that or he broke his skull plate and the antler grew out weird. But that one's probably a year or two old. So, those are the only two I found this year. I'm gonna go, there's a place here in Washington that it's like a wildlife preserve for elk. And I'm gonna go there when they open up the gates. They let people shed hunt there. Any elk antlers I find, I'm gonna find them to sell them to have extra money to go back to Iowa next year. So, alright. So, only two this year. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, I think I got most of the racks out. There's a couple more in there. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about some of those there quick. This is the antler that started it all. And my dad used to film deer in town. And this deer was a 4-point on this side, and on the other side he didn't have a brow tine. He was a big 3-point. And the place we would film them at, there was woods, and then a field, and then more woods, but these were just like little fingers of woods. It was the only woods around there. So I'd chase them from the one side. My dad would be up on the edge of the field filming, and they would go into those woods. I'd circle around, kick them back out, and they'd go back across the field, and then I could kick them back out, and they'd go back across. But one time we had, my dad used to use the old, like, video camera camcorder that took one of the mini tapes. But we used to film all the time, like, at least once a week. And they developed all that now. That's all an industrial area. But one time we had 23 bucks come out all at once. But that antler was the first time he hit it on a log or on a tree and knocked it off. But that was the first antler that started it all. It was I think February 28th of 98. That was when I found that. But, so anyway, a couple of these racks. Showed you that one. Honestly, that looks like a Texas deer. That's how freaking wide it is. I think that's 21 or 23 wide. And, so, yeah. Let's see, where should we start? This antler right here, I mounted this on a skull plate that I found, but so this is going to probably be a long video. It's not really straight on there. This antler found February 28th of 2004, and the area I was shed hunting is probably only 50, 60 acres. But then across the road, there was a quarry and then some railroad tracks. And I had hunted those railroad tracks. There was a little strip of woods along the railroad tracks. I'd hunted that since I was probably 8 years old. So, it was only a few miles from my house. So, back when I found this, I would ride my bike and go shed hunting. And I really started going shed hunting like by myself. I think 04 was the first year. And, I'd just go to the woods just to, you know, just go walk and stuff. Like, both my grandmas had died within 6 months apart, you know, and after that I hit the woods and just went. Ride my bike everywhere. So anyway, found this one on February 28th. Didn't find this side until the end of May. And in 05, I shot him during bow season. Pretty cool. And he was over, these sheds were probably a quarter mile away from where I actually shot him. But I thought that was pretty cool. And then, let's see, which one is it? This deer, I think it's this one. Yeah, pretty sure it is. That one, I have one side to the sheds from the year before. And then that was where I shot this guy. I got that one. This one, we had shotgun hunted those railroad tracks on shotgun season of 04. And my dad and my uncle had already gotten a deer, so they weren't carrying their guns. It was just me, and I was carrying my dad's gun. And he had a scope on it, because the railroad tracks and fields on both sides. So it's like, oh, you know, we jump a deer out, it's going to be a long shot. So I used the gun with the scope. 5 minutes after we get there, we jump this guy out. And he's like 20 yards in front of me. I'm popping at him through the scope. Second shot that I take, you know, scope was in for 100 yards, and he was like 20 yards away, so I was shooting way high. I freaking shot his antler. I didn't know it at the time. I found the antler when I found the deer. But I ended up hitting his antler somehow. And then I shot like 4 more times at him. And I was like, man, there's no way in hell I missed him. So we went over there, couldn't find no blood at all. And then he got into like some super like chest high grass. And still couldn't find no blood, so I was like, damn it, I missed him. The shed season next year, I freaking found him like 20 yards from where we quit looking. And a chunk of antler was laying right next to where he was. And stuff, so I don't know, like, when he died and fell over, broke the end of the antler off. So, that's 04, 05. That was bow of 05. This was shotgun in the same spot of 05. This deer was cool too. I shot him freaking 6 times. And he didn't know that he was shot. And he still went like 100 yards. Double lunged him. Like, I thought I was missing when I was shooting him. I just kept popping rounds at him. And like, I don't know if he didn't know where they were coming from. But he wasn't reacting to getting hit. So I thought I was missing him. But ended up took out, like, he had nothing for lungs left. And like, there wasn't no blood either. Like, barely any blood. There was snow on the ground with that. Barely any blood. And he went probably close to 100 yards. That one, actually this is the one I have to side to, not that one. Yeah, this one. This is the very first rack I ever found. So I cut him off wrong. I remember this deer had some gnarly freaking bases. His bases were like these, with all the stickers. But yeah, this one, like, when it's setting right, they were almost, the main beams were almost touching. But I was like 12 years old on that, and ended up cutting them off wrong. And these are 2 different antlers on here. This one was the very, very first antler we'd ever found. My dad found it. That was the very first one we'd ever found. But and then this one, this is like a really symmetrical little basket rack, but I found him the day I found this big one. But man, if you look at that, he's like perfect. Same tine length, brow tine length, all that on both sides. It's pretty cool. This one's pretty cool. It's got the split G3 and the dog knot. I thought that was kind of cool. And then that one's got a cool like sticker coming out. This one, man, if I could have found this one when it was not hard white and cracked. It's got an awesome flyer off of it. And this was public land. Looks like somebody tried to cut him too. But this one I found on a my mom's aunt's farm. Like, this thing's like petrified, but it would have been huge to find that. That was probably out there for years. But yeah, some of these are like hard white because I had them hanging up at our house in Iowa on our fence. The squirrels would always go after them. But otherwise, there's no way in hell I'd put a rack like that up on my fence. But it was already white and chewed up and all that. But that's pretty much all the racks. I had probably a half dozen of them taken from me from the DNR. I worked nights at the time when I got this guy, and my uncle, my dad's brother, was always wanting to go hunting with me. Like he's the one that showed us that spot where I got that one. And my wife didn't drive at the time. She had lost her license, so I was driving her to work every morning. And I worked nights, so I'd get home, drive her to work, and then most of the times I'd go out hunting after I dropped her off. So before I got him, it was, rut was just starting. The road that we would take my wife to work, deer would get hit all the freaking time on it. And it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning when we would drive it. So I ended up finding, I think, 5 or 6 bucks that gotten hit. And one was a freaking nice 13 point. He was wide like that one. But then the other ones, were just all not as small as some of those, but, they were just normal sized deer, nothing huge. And so I cut those off, and my dad was joking with my uncle saying that I shot him. And then when I got that guy, I called my uncle up and said, man, I just shot a nice buck, on the tracks. Well, my uncle's wife ended up calling the freaking DNR and said that I was poaching them. So DNR ended up coming. They took all of them but that one. So I was like, no, I did shoot that one, my tags on it and stuff like that. But ended up we knew the DNR officer, and we'd helped him with some people poaching by where we used to film those deer. And it was in town, you couldn't hunt there. And people would hunt there. So we had helped him. We had filmed some people hunting and stuff. So it was this guy that took the racks from me and stuff, and he was like, oh, I'll wait till after shotgun season, because he was trying to decide what to do and stuff. And he was, it was a couple days before shotgun season, and ended up, shooting that one on shotgun season. But after shotgun season, he came back and he was like, well, you're not getting the antlers back. And he gave me like $205 fines. And then I couldn't hunt the next year in 06 and stuff, you know. So he didn't take it to court or nothing like that and all that. But that's, that was pretty bogus. My uncle was jealous because I wasn't going hunting with him and stuff like that. But I'm gonna lay some of these sheds out, and damn, this is really gonna be a long video. But so I'll lay them out and then I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so there's a few more racks in here, but I think they're all smaller and stuff. But I think what I'm gonna do is do 2 parts to this. Nobody's gonna watch a 30-minute video. So I'm gonna move some of these around and set the sheds out. But this one was in one of those totes too. And I found this one where I found that really old one too. And that is freaking awesome, man. I can imagine what that was like when that was brown. If I could have found both of those when they were brown, holy crap. Just the sheer size of it, man. You know, this is hard white and cracked and everything too. But man, that would have been nice. So I'm gonna start setting the sheds out and I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so there's quite a few more racks in there than what I thought. So that's the one I told you started it all off. This one is all chewed up, but this is actually, that one's right there from the year before. And there's not too many sheds. You know, like I said, all of this was from 98 to probably 05, sometime around there. So I sold over 100 sheds in like 06 or 07, like a lot of my biggest ones. And but a lot of them were, you know, smaller sheds too. I think like 50 of them or something were, you know, the smaller sheds. But a nice set. Let's see here. Where are they at? There's a set in here. Where'd I put it? Oh, those right there. I found those, I think, in 05. But they're from 04. I found them right next to each other. Not chewed up or nothing. I thought that was pretty cool. And then this rack right there, that one, me and my friend found it out. We were going out to do some squirrel hunting before shotgun season, and we went there after school. This was, I'm gonna say, back in like 2002 or something around there. But we went out there after school, and so after school, and it got dark like 5 o'clock, and I was telling him, dude, we're gonna need flashlights to get back, because we were going like a mile and a half, 2 miles back. He's like, oh no, we ain't gonna be there that long. Ended up finding that. Didn't have a saw or a knife or nothing with us. So I think he had a 22 and I had a 410 or a 12 gauge. I ended up shooting through the neck and cutting the head off. And then it got dark and we ended up taking the wrong trail and we got lost. And I was on the phone with my mom and she was freaking out because we took the wrong trail. We ended up going down by the river and she was going to call the sheriff to come out and help find us. But I was like, no, don't do that. I'm carrying a freaking deer head with me. And but anyway, right, we ended up making it back to the car. But that one was a good story. Probably the only time I've ever been lost in the woods. But, so yeah, these are all, this one's kind of cool. It'd been nice to find him brown. That's a long freaking spike. But, so this is all up. Let's see, I stopped shed hunting, I think, in 08 or 09. Because this antler my oldest son found, and he was like two or three at the time. He was born in 06. So I think this might have been the last time I was out. So I think that was the last year we were out. My son was either 2 or 3. I can't remember if it was before the flood of 2008. There was a big flood in Iowa. And I lived in Cedar Rapids. That was like the hardest hit area. I don't remember if that was 08 or 09. But anyway, after that we moved out to the country on a farm. And I didn't go from either 08 or 09, 2010 and 2011. And then started in 2012. But I went out like at the end of March in 2012. And I only found 1 fresh and 2 chewed up ones. And then 2013 I found that tote, and then this box of them were all 2013. But we'll leave some of those out and I'll get back to you.